I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ersek. I'm the CEO of Western Union. I've been with the company 16 years, was responsible before I being CEO for the so-called international business, especially on the Europe and Asia side and Africa side. So I know the African business, I would say, pretty well, because it also the business grew under my leadership. And now we are celebrating here. I'm in Morocco here in Casablanca in our offices of Western Union offices. We are celebrating our 20 years of Africa, being in Africa. It's a short term, but it's a long term. We definitely define the money transfer, especially the cross-border money transfer industry. Over the last 20 years, we were definitely one of the first. We opened our first location in Morocco and in Ghana at the same time. And within the last 20 years, we now have about 300 agents all over Africa, 35,000 locations, and we are really active in 50 countries with a brand awareness of almost over 90%. So people in Africa really know us, trust us, and they, I would say, almost like us, because we change million people's of life every day, actually, and over the years. And if you move money cross-border from 200 countries to Africa or out of Africa, you do change millions people's of life. We do 30 transactions globally every second, and with a system which is unique, a unique system which is connects people wherever they are, in which part of the world they are, and that has been our success, that we are really serving the customer in the last mile. Yesterday I was on a market tour. We went to a place which was not easy to have a location, and we put a mobile location there, even with a solar energy, which gets the solar energy and activates the location. So, and I saw customers there, and they were so thankful that we are coming to their home, so-called, because they had, otherwise they wouldn't have any chance to be included in the financial system. And that's exactly what we are doing. We include millions of customers in the financial system, especially in Africa. We are very, very fortunate that we could do that. The number one reason why people send back money home is education. They want to give, especially with Western Union, they want to give their children a better life than they had it. They want that they have a better education. And in Africa, the estimated yearly remittance market is between $60 to $70 billion. In 2014 was about $63 billion is the official number. I believe there is some statistical error there is also, but it's a huge part of African life. It's bigger than any foreign direct investments, bigger than direct aid. It's really moving money in the people's decision. We empower people because the money goes directly from person to person, and we enable that. Within that environment, we also pay out in multi-currencies. It's not only we pay out in one currency, we really translate the currencies in people's daily need, so they can take the money, go to school, pay the teacher, buy books, or buy shelter, or support their loved ones. Yesterday, as I was in this location, elder lady got money from her son from Middle East. I believe it was UAE, and with the money she was able to take a surgery, make a surgery, and live healthy. So that change again. This transaction change people's lives. So we have about we move about, so world, sorry, I have to correct me, worldwide it's moved about $600 billion yearly between people, between person-to-person remittances, and Africa is a big part of it. There are about officially 15 million Africans moving to different parts of the world, and they do change also the economies where they arrive. There is also always a perception that immigration from some Western countries, it's not the, there has a second thought about immigration always. But however, immigration is, we believe, is good, especially if you look at the demographic issues that Europe, Russia, Japan, or South Korea, or many countries have. I believe the young generation really changes the economies all where they arrive. They create jobs, they consume, they create wealth to the economy, and this is something that the young people do, especially the African do that. And we know it. That's to get a study, a natural study. We recently asked the economists to make a study also about Africa, what is their contribution to the countries they arrive, also the contribution to the countries they come from. And that will be issued, I believe, end of next month. But I can give you already some statistics which we are very which confirms actually my thoughts. So first of all, the Africans, when they move, they're young, they are energetic, they are entrepreneurial. The 2/3 of the African migrants in the OECD countries are between between 15 and 25. So it's a young population moving really to these countries. Another one is that the most successful so-called, every migrant is successful, every African is successful, but the most successful migrant groups in the US, for instance, is so-called the Nigerians. I just saw a very interesting statistic that 20% of the black Harvard students in Africa, in the US, the Harvard students, 20% of the black Africans are Nigerians. So including the Afro-American population, that was the statistic. So there is a huge contribution of African people to that countries. Morocco is definitely something that we are very concentrated, because Moroccans are very entrepreneurial, and I was looking at the statistic, about 900 patents were issued by Moroccans the last between 1995 and 2011. 1995 and 2011, there were about 900 international patents application through Moroccan entrepreneurs. And there are also, for instance, the Ghanaians, when they are most of them doctors, physicians, or nurses. So there is a huge positive side of the migration, which we know as Western Union, we know, and that the studies also confirms that, and there will be a very detailed study about that, about in coming years. So what's next for Western Union? As you know, we expanded our activities. We started, having 35. We now have 35,000 locations within Africa, and we're going to continue to grow the number of locations. But also, we have worldwide 100,000 ATMs, and parts of them are in Africa. Yesterday, I did a transaction on an ATM at Bank Popular in Casablanca, where you can go and pick up the money from an ATM. So we expand, besides the locations, also the bancomat, the ATM service. Definitely, the one of the most things which we believe is the future is, as we speak, I'm looking at an app actually. We are gonna expand is the mobile app, giving the customers the ability to send and receive money from their mobiles, because we know that especially in Africa, there are worldwide about 200 million mobile wallets. I mean, I'm talking mobile wallets, financial wallets, and half of them almost are in Africa. So people want to store money in their mobile, want to manage their financials from their mobile, send money, receive money, or track a transaction, or find a location. That's all what we are doing. About few days ago, we announced, for instance, a huge contribution, a huge cooperation with a social media called WeChat, and where the people can same time they chat with each other, like FaceTime or something like that, or Google or something like that, or email. They can also same time send money. That's something that it's also possible through Western Union, because Western Union is the company which is present in 200 countries, has a regulatory environment, one of the best anti-money laundering programs, settles in 131 currencies, and within that environment we are adding also now mobile as a tool in the customers' hands, actually empowering the customers. Whatever they want, they can do also with the mobile. Listen, we had we have 165 years of history. I call always we are 165 years of young. Within that 165 years, we have a DNA. We disrupted ourselves always, instead of allowing that the competition comes and takes over. And that has not been the case, and that's exactly what we are doing currently. We are the leader in the cross-border online money transfer. We are the leader on the retail money transfer. We are the leader on ATM payouts. So we are exactly adapting the customer's future, always in the needs of the customer every time, and that has been definitely something very successful and going to continue to happen. With that, I will maybe stop here for a second. And maybe you have online questions. Please send me the questions, and we're going to read them and try to answer them. What's the main purpose of your trip to Africa? What's your program? Actually, there are two main reasons to Africa. First of all, before saying the two reasons, I love Africa. I grew up this business within Africa. And talking to the customers always shows me how Africa changed especially the last 5 years within the environment, and what the growth opportunity Africa for corporations is, but also for the African people is. There are two reasons why I'm here, business reasons. One is the 20 years Western Union celebration of Africa. It's a big milestone. We would like to recognize our partners, our agents partners. We would like to recognize our employees. We would like to recognize our consumers being 20 years with us. Yesterday I met customers who've been 20 years with us and using us for 20 years, and that's a special environment. The second thing we believe, the reason is that really talking about the future opportunities in Africa. The mobile is definitely something I've been talking to the partners, future partners, how we can get more digital in Africa, because we've been on the money transfer always the first, and we're going to be the first in the cross-border mobile money transfer and digital money transfer all over Africa. It's not only building one corridor from Morocco to France or from Kenya to UK. It's really covering all Africa. We want to serve with this mobile the ability to serve as many customers as possible, as we did it with retail. And as we did it with ATM, we would like to do that. That's something that we are kicking off. I have my team here, my digital team here. I have my with me to support that initiative, and it has been very well received by many banks and many mobile.
Okay, please, all the second CEO will be reconnected in 1-2 minutes. Sorry about that.
Apologize for the inconvenience. I think something happened, but I'm waiting for the questions. If there are any questions, I had the first one, but if there are any questions, please do send them. I can't see them. African banker with all the mobile services available, are cash-to-cash transfer still valid? Yes, I think it's still valid. If you really understand use cases, you have to combine both. What Western Union is that it's not only mobile to mobile, it does mobile to cash, cash to mobile, mobile to retail, mobile to ATM, and mobile to account, and or account to mobile. So I would say that system could be only successful if you really open the system to different use cases. If you have a closed system, only mobile to mobile, it's limited. You need merchants who accept mobile phones, mobile wallets. But if somebody wants to turn the amount, let's say $100, $50 to pay out, and $50 keep it in mobile, you want to keep that. That's number one. So you have to have the flexibility. Number two is that the mobile to mobile payments mechanism are more intra-country systems. When it comes to cross-border, there are different needs. There are foreign exchange difficulties. There are anti-money laundering, and I believe you need the system which supports that and turns that dirhams to euro to francs, and so on and so on. So that's what Western Union can do cross-border. That's what the most mobile-to-mobile companies can't do it, because they don't have an overarching payment system. That's really our competency. That's really where we come in. I think mobile-to-mobile is a fantastic thing, but if you add more use cases on that, it's even better. And that's what we are offering to mobile money transfer companies. With regards to the African diaspora market, how many jobs have been created in Africa, in the US since 2009? And if possible, please give us the most recent figures for Francophone Africa, Anglophone Africa. Let me try to answer your questions. As I said earlier, we're gonna have the study published end of. I am looking at my team. End of this month, actually. They just confirmed that end of this month we're gonna publish the study. Economist is still putting these things together, and we'll give that. But I can say that there are about 15 million migrants living in the OECD countries, which creating jobs. And I'm just getting about 100,000. Yeah. So Western Union in Africa alone employs about over 100,000 frontline associates to our network. So we create jobs as Western Union here, but I think the question was more, the immigration, how much job immigration creates, and the study will be published by end of this month, and you will be able to see the study. What is Western Union plan regarding Zimbabwe? We are using a multi-currency system, mainly US dollar, but the local find is hard to send money to friends, relatives in the region. When will Zimbabwe start sending cash out of Zimbabwe? Well, I would like to start it immediately, if you like ask me. You know, it's more a central bank regulation environment. As you know, in some current countries like Zimbabwe or Angola has the same challenges, I would say. Short of our currency doesn't makes it hard for consumer to use for cross-border money transfer. I believe once the Zimbabwean currency gets more settled, also the Angolan settled, there is an exchange possibility against the hard currencies, and we can do that. It's, as I said, we would like to serve any currency. We are doing any currency, but it has to be more regulated, more stabilized, and in that moment we will do it. There's a strong competition from mobile money service, which are considered to be cheaper. How does Western Union respond to that? The question came from African bank. A very good question, actually. The competition, you are absolutely right. There is a big competition from mobile money transfer companies, but the competition is more on the local environment, within the same currency or within the same country. There is a different business model if you move money within the same currencies and same countries. If it comes to cross-border, it gets much more expensive because there is agents on the both sides, mobile operators on the both sides, consumer on the both sides, different currency on the both sides, and different foreign exchange rates on the both sides, and anti-money laundering, cross-border anti-money laundering are on the both sides, so the costs are much higher. But if you look at Western Union, over the years we came significantly down with our prices, and the thing what helped us to bring the prices down was the mobile, was the technology, and today overall globally we have our average is about 5%, that's 5% of the principal amount. And there are some countries higher, there are some countries much lower. We have also zero fees in Africa, then we have different foreign exchange rates. So it depends really on the competitive environment and how we react to the market. But I believe overall with the technology the prices will come down, including Western Union of course. And but don't forget that there is some cost when it comes to cross-border. There is a big differentiation within the currency, but when it comes to cross-currency, there's a big difference in the business model. From Journal de Cameroon, what's your plan for the digital in Africa? Is it only based on your partnership with WeChat? Of course not. I think we will definitely have other applications on the Western Union applications on the mobile phones. One of the things during my trip I was talking to several banks which they already have online banking on their mobile, and the banks actively approached us. They would like to have the cross currency ability with Western Union on their mobile app, and that's exactly what we are working. If you go to a bank, African bank location, and do you want to make a with Banco Popular or with EcoBank or with other banks, if you want to make a transaction, you will be able to use your bank account via mobile, but same time also if you want to send money to the US, to France, or from Gabon to Mali, you will be able to send money from your mobile phone with Western Union app. That's definitely one expansion what we are looking at mobile, and I think fasten seat belts. I will say that new announcement come too soon. And the other one is also we are working with mobile operators. They will like to use our platform for the cross money currency. I give you one example is the famous M-Pesa in Kenya. Many transaction comes from Europe, goes directly to a mobile wallet in Kenya on the M-Pesa via Western Union, and that will continue to grow. I believe that more and more mobile wallets will accept Western Union, and the people then can decide what to do with the money, either pay out in cash or keep it in the mobile wallet or sending to a bank account. Ecovision Afrique. A lot of countries are today developing money transfer services that are considered fast but less reliable because of lack of confidence in their leaders. Do you see an occasion here to establish partnership with these startups and grow even more? Well, I do see here some opportunities. We are always looking about can we do a partnership with them, because one thing is clear, that what our strength is, what the others don't have, is our multi-settlement system and our anti-money laundering system and our global presence and regulatory licenses, which obviously the others struggle, and it didn't happen to us from today suddenly. With the startups needs time. This business needs time. It took us years to get the license in 200 countries to operate. It took us years to build the anti-money laundering system database, which has millions of data to control the transactions. It took us years to build a trusted brand, which has 90%, over 90% in Africa. So within that environment, I would say that it will be hard. It's a competitive advantage for Western Union, but our doors are open. Anyone can work with us. We are more than happy to be even serving our anti-money laundering systems and everything to the customer bases. WeChat model is the same. We are getting WeChat customers in our database. We are putting in our engine or in our platform and then dropping money somewhere worldwide. And this is going to happen, I believe, also with smaller startups. And if they want to work with us, we are open. I believe your question is also on M&A opportunities. We are always looking for M&A opportunities to expand our, especially in a digital environment, which fits with our strategy. But you know, M&A has to be always fit in with the strategy and has to be good for the customers, but good also for the shareholders. I take the last question, operator. Okay. African banker. Where are you better established in Africa, Franco-Africa or Anglo-Africa? Is there a plan to sign an agreement with Orange? Well, you have to also ask Orange that question. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I'm inviting Orange to use our platform to make a cooperation. Maybe after that I should give a call to the CEO of Orange after this conference. Our system is open. We are inviting. I don't think that somebody else has that system in Africa that we have it. That big, that reliable, that multi-currency, that global. And so I'm open to any, including Orange, any system that they want to cooperate with us. Our tradition has been always cooperation. Our tradition always has working with third parties. Our 500,000 locations doesn't come suddenly. It all came from cooperation with banks, cooperation with financial institutions, cooperations with telephone companies. So Orange could be also definitely something that we can cooperate with. I'm not against that. To your first part of the question, are we more successful in Anglo-France or in Franco-Africa or Anglo-Africa? You know, the good thing in Western Union is we are such a global company. None of our revenue is out of the US. It's bigger than 7%. None of our countries are bigger than 7% of our revenue. So if you put USA to side or North America to side, the biggest country is 7% of our revenue. So you see how balanced we are. That reflects also in Africa. We very much balanced. We are very strong in Franco-Africa, but all the same in Anglo-Africa. We have a huge business in Ghana. We have a huge business in Gabon. We have a huge business in Ivory Coast, but huge business also in Kenya, or in South Africa, or in Morocco, in North Africa, or in Egypt even, you know, more Arabic-speaking Africa, I would say. So that has been the success story of Western Union, being really there. And I remember to my own early years as I started at Western Union, we had only, I believe, 60 countries, 56 countries or something like that. And now we are in 200 countries, globally present everywhere, and we are really entrepreneurs. We are inventors, and we want to expand our presence. We're going to continue to grow in Africa. 35,000, 20 years is nothing. 35,000 locations are nothing. ATMs, nothing. Mobile is just startup, and we're going to continue to do that. And with that, I will, once again congratulate my team, consumers, and our partners for 20 years of Africa. We are very proud, and I would like to thank you to dialing in and taking your time and asking that interesting questions. And if with your permission, I would like to end this call. Thank you very much. Was that?